Hi everyone, Darren Hunter here. We are with Deniz Youssef. This is the PM Growth Experts Show. It is a video podcast, but we also stream it also onto iTunes podcast and Podbean if you are on an Android device. Now, of course, we are inspiredgrowthtraining.com. Today we have Tim Castro, who is a BDM from Port Macquarie in New South Wales. Tim, thank you for coming on the show today.
Not a problem. Thank you for having me.
Cool. Alrighty, now, very quickly, Tim, the town you're managing, regional New South Wales, around about 70,000 people. You've been on board for about 2 years. In that 2 years, you've signed 334 deals. Well done. Now, Deniz, average rent in a regional town is usually at $280, $300 a week. They've got a whopping $400 a week average rent in Port Macquarie. You would agree it's quite a distance drive away from Sydney, so a very, very solid town. But for our American viewers, that's $1,700 a month in rent. Now, before we go on, just to do a quick plug for Rockend Technologies, who is an exclusive partner with Inspired Growth Training. Now, there's a lot of offices at the moment, Deniz, that are considering going from their server-based system to the cloud. There's a lot of consideration at the moment. One of the things that Rockend have with their cloud platform property tree is what's called Invoice Genius. Now, guys, we get a lot of invoices across our desk in property management, and it probably takes around about 40 seconds for some person, expensive person, to be keying that in to the system. Now, if there's a barcode or QR code, Invoice Genius that's plugged in the property tree reads it, and for the average, for a rent roll size of say 1,000 managements or 1,000 doors, that's around about 4 weeks worth of someone's time keying invoices in. Invoice Genius is going to save you around about 2.5 weeks of that work, because around about 60% of invoices have a barcode or QR code. So guys, save yourself some time. Go to propertytree.com.au, ask for a demo, ask to have a look at Invoice Genius, see how it works for you as you make a choice on what the platform you're going to move to next. So,
it's extra prospecting time, Darren.
What was that?
It's extra prospecting time.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a good way of putting it. Okay.
2.5 weeks of prospecting in a year, they're well and truly going to pay for their Rockend to have the cloud-based system put in place. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, absolutely. Anyway, over to you, Deniz.
Yeah, excellent. So, Tim, thanks for having us on board, mate. Awesome to have you. I was only sharing in one of our recordings yesterday that when you first started in the position, you were hounding me, asking me questions, contacting me, and it never stopped. And that's what I like about you. You're not scared to pick up the phone or shoot a text or an email, to learn more. Darren, I don't know if you know of any other BDMs that did that when you were training, but it's certainly a good sign, is all I can say.
It is, yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, thank you.
I was forever hounding the trainers saying, I want more, I want more, I want more. And you're doing exactly what I did. So it's awesome. So, mate, why real estate? How did you fall into real estate, or were you planning on getting into the position as a kid?
Yeah, in all honesty, it wasn't planned at all. It was a decision. I was either going to be a car salesman or a real estate agent. I had done so many sales jobs before that. Yep. And a lot of them included door knocking, which was really raw and extreme. And then I went into credit card sales as well, and a few other little sales jobs, such as standing in a shopping center. Yep. And then I came to a decision when I was just working in a retail job. I was like, well, I want to do sales. I can either sell cars or I can become a real estate agent. So I got the certificate and went ahead with becoming a real estate agent.
There you go. So the two lowest forms of trust was your choice, car sales and real estate. So you're really scraping at the barrel there, right?
Yeah.
For any of the listeners out there, real estate is classed as the second lowest trusting job to have, and car sales is the lowest.
Mm.
You know? And so, you know, I mean, and it's an interesting job because in real estate, we're already, you know, behind the 8 ball in having to gain a client's trust, and
Definitely.
you know, so you've got to climb up. So it's interesting, and you did door-to-door sales as well. What were you doing there?
Yeah. So we were selling subscriptions for charity, so monthly subscriptions, and that was, I would say that was the hardest training that I've ever gone through. You know, you were dedicated to the company. It was 9 o'clock in the morning, 2 hours worth of training, and then 11 o'clock you're out on the streets door knocking till about 7 o'clock at night. So it's very, very full on.
You get a lot of slam doors, etc. Yeah, mate. I totally respect the job. I did it for selling Kirby vacuum cleaners.
How long did you do that for, Deniz?
I think it was about, I'm going to say maybe 6 to 9 months I did it for.
I just think people that have done that just get so much BDM grounding. It lines out just about every negative that you may carry towards sales.
I made no money for 8 weeks.
Yeah.
But yet you persisted. I mean, that persistence is just, it's got to be recognized there.
Yeah, I made no money. And then my first sale, I ended up selling 3 vacuums in the one day, right? And I was the only one that made sales. And I remember my boss saying to me, why didn't I get into more doors? Because I had 100% strike rate on this one day. And then once I got the taste and I saw the income, I went, wow, like bang. Then I you know, climbed the ladder, and then I fell into fruit. I went back into, you know, so I just got good at it, and I was ready to go, ready to take over. And Tracy's like, nah, that's it. It's time to, you know, let's, you know, time to get married, etc. So that's what we did. And, you know, but grounding, I've got to say, mate, full respect for door-to-door sales. And it's interesting, you're talking about you also were in shopping centres.
Yes.
So can I ask, have you done anything in real estate for in a shopping centre yet?
We did attempt to do the launch of our concierge service in a shopping centre.
Yep.
And unfortunately, it didn't go to plan or the vision that we had.
Sure.
But yeah, I mean, since then, no, but that's the only thing we have done. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. I wouldn't mind having a bit of a talk to you about that. I feel that, you know, it's not just about, instead of, you know, having it as an offer, this is what we're doing, you've got to get them in for like a competition, like, you know, have a chance to win. By the way, this is a service that we're providing. So I would have taken it from a different angle.
Yeah.
You know, anyway, but that's cool. So, you know, even if you have a big jar of lollies, a competition, guessing comp, win 12 months of free management, right?
Yeah.
You know, and hey, by the way, you know, we're part of our company, we've got this concierge service, etc. That we do. So while we're talking about this concierge service, can we, you know, you want to explain a little bit, because it's a really good point of difference of what you offer for your clients.
Yeah, sure. So it was mainly the director's idea, and we sort of put that in plan and made that reality. The concierge service is a website-based app which tenants can put on their phone, similar to a normal app that you get from the App Store, but just website-based. And you can hire the moving van, or that has a moving van, 2 trailers that you can hire, packing boxes and tape, and also you can lodge repair requests, vacate notices, and so forth from there.
So you have vehicles that are branded to the company that your tenants, and what about someone selling a house? Can they use it as well, or buying?
Yeah. Well, we only do property management.
Property management only. That's right.
Yeah.
I apologise.
Yeah. No, that's all right.
So they can hire it. So they're actually out on the road branding your vehicles.
That's correct. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
And they have to, before they hire it, they do have to leave a Google review. So, you know, on the positive side, we are growing our Google reviews.
On the positive side, before they get the service, they've got to give a positive review. I like that.
Yeah, 100%.
That's a little bit of nice obligation there. I like that.
It is. It's the same as, you know, when you call your landlord for a Google review once the tenants sign their lease. It's the exact same thing. So similar.
I mean, that's a really good point of view. Is that something that you bring up, like to an owner if you're presenting at their house or something like that? Is that something that you offer?
I do. I mean, depending on the client and their situation, if they're looking that they need to move their stuff out of their home because they've just built, or it's their actual home, not their investment property itself,
yep.
Then we will offer the concierge service to them. If it's not so much that, I will mention it because the real benefit there is to the tenant of having that service, but the benefit to the landlord as well is it actually attracts high quality tenants.
Yeah, I mean, Mr. and Mrs. Smith, our job is to streamline the process of tenants moving in and out of houses, and our job is to get them into your home as quickly as we can. So we also offer. That's really good. And the box.
And they're saving around $350 per move for each tenant.
Yeah. Okay.
That's great. Very, very good value. Well done.
Yeah. I mean, it's about how much you can save the client dollars. It's not about the fee that they're charging. So that concierge service, that's a big tick for me. I wouldn't mind actually having a look at it.
Definitely.
I mean, driving, people seeing that driving around town. And Port Macquarie Property Management, the name of your business. I mean, that's going to be a great, branding exercise for sure.
Definitely, we've had quite a few few people call us up and ask, how can we get the moving van? Do you drive it for us? Do you move house for us? No, we're not removalists, but this is how we do it. And then I lead them to the website, and they check it out. So we have two websites. One's for presenting and the information behind it, and then the other website is the app for tenants that they can use and landlords to have as well.
Yeah. So can you explain any negatives that you've had with that? Obviously, there's always positives, and there are some negatives. Yep. What are some issues or problems that you've had to work through?
The problems mainly have been driver negligence. We have had an accident already in the van, which we've had to get repaired, and also with the trailers as well. Some people don't like to treat their things like their own. So I guess that's the only negative, as well as some people driving around town, honking at cars and so forth. In the agreement, we always go through and explain the procedure of how you're representing the company. So that's the negative side to it.
Just make sure you got good insurance cover, or ready to cover your.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And some good sign writing on the vehicle as well.
Definitely.
Yeah,
you can't miss it.
Part of the Inner Circle group, you shared some photos in there of them only a couple of weeks ago. So the vehicles actually look really good.
Yeah. It's very nice.
So when I move, in a few months' time, you'll be able to drive up to Brisbane for me, or how does it work?
Put your request through, and it may or not be booked.
That's cool. I'll work with you guys. Yeah. That's awesome. So obviously you're property management only. What else so what's your position in the office, and how's the structure of your office set up?
So for myself, it's full-time BDM, and then we have a leasing team. So we have a leasing team / property officer, yep. And three of those, 3 girls there. And then we have their assistants to the property managers, which we have 3 property managers.
What's the size? How many managements does the office look after?
650 at the moment.
That's very big for a country town. Well done.
Yeah, well done. And that's pure BDM you're chasing. And at what stage are you let's see, you've signed me up. What happens? You've got my signature, bang, you pass me on to the how's that process, your handover?
So it's actually a process with myself a little bit longer than probably what's average with the BDM, and that's more for client care and that handover period. There's been a lot of questions about how to do a handover that I've asked myself, and I haven't ever gotten the exact answer on what to do. It's more, what do you think is the right thing to do? So when, say for example, I have signed you up, I'll generally be on the phone to you 3-4 times a week, giving you updates on your property, how many tenants have gone through, number of applications received, how the girls are going with processing all the applications. And then I won't present the application to you because I like the property manager to sort of do that introduction call. And then here's an application for you. So it's sort of a nice approach to it.
Yeah.
And then from there, we make sure that the property gets ready. So I'll go through if we need to get the property cleaned, if we need to organise any tradesmen or anything like that. That's where I'll organise that with you and work alongside you to get the property 100% ready to go.
Okay, that's cool. So that's a good system. I mean, I was a let go and forget. And then it was up to the leasing agent to do those calls. But if we needed a reduction put in place, the leasing agent was, "Nah, Deniz, you overpriced this." And it was up to me to get on there and get the reduction. They were trained to get that into place anyway. But that's good. It sounds like that you've got that down pot. So again, we've got, I'm not sure if you're aware that Tim was actually a finalist for Real Estate Business Awards.
Oh, yes, that's right. Yeah.
2018. So,
Yes.
Congratulations on that, buddy, for being up there. Obviously, there's some great BDMs
Definitely.
that you're in the mix there with. And we did do a recording with Adam only
Yesterday.
So, and his strategy for growth is completely different to yours, which is interesting. So if we can just share, where would you say, like, most of your business is coming from where? You don't have a salesperson to be able to feed you leads unless you're dealing with a sales-only company, or you do have some. But where would 80% of your business be coming from? How are you prospecting?
It's a lot to do with networking. That's mainly my skill set that I do focus on and have with the people in the Port Macquarie area and surrounding areas. Another rent roll growth strategy that we have is we have actually set up a relationship with a sales only agency, and that is with that's in another town or another suburb just outside of Port Macquarie. So we wanted to focus on Port Macquarie, but we also wanted to focus on the outer suburbs as well, just to provide that extra service, because a lot of people in that town in Wauchope, which is the town, didn't actually have they don't actually have a dedicated property management only service there. So that's where we wanted to provide that.
Okay, so who are you networking with for people that are listening in? Like, great that you're networking. So some example of some people that you are networking with.
Yeah, so I joined BNI. That's been a massive contributor.
That name keeps on coming up, Deniz. BNI keeps on coming up.
Darren, I've been bantering on when I first started as a consultant that people need to join a BNI, and so many people argue with it. But there's, and I'm not going to say that every BNI works, because, if you fall into a BNI that's been established for a long time, and, they're really clicky, they can become clicky. But if you are part of that clickiness, you're going to get a lot of referrals, right? So that's the benefit. So otherwise, start your own. So BNI.com, do a search in your local area, .com.au. If for Australia, etc., that they are an international system. So explain the BNI. So the benefit of being in a BNI is there's only one property manager, right?
Yeah, so that's exactly right. So it locks out all the competitors. There is a sales agent in there as well. Unfortunately, we do have our one-to-ones and connects, but unfortunately we can't refer just due to their agency as well. But yeah, I mean, there's great. Of course. Of course. I've tried so many ways. I was like, mate, why don't we try this one? Why don't we try that way? And it's always a roadblock at the end of it. But,
can I give you a tip?
Sure.
Okay. So what's his name? Oh, no, don't say his name. Let's say it's Darren. So, hey, look, Darren, I understand that you're, you've got a property management division, and that's fair enough. So if you don't mind me asking, if you've got a investor that is looking to purchase the property and they need to know what the rent is, I actually think it's a biased opinion that you're giving them because it's branded the same. I tell you what, how about I'll provide you with a letter as well, so it's like a second opinion. And if they do decide to use our services,
he almost got let go because I did that.
Ah, okay. Well,
I've tried every avenue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Keep plugging away. That's cool. Keep plugging away.
Yeah. So
no doesn't mean no.
Next opportunity is how no presents to myself. So I guess there is definitely a lot of tradesmen in the room that have helped with the growth, and there's also a lender and a few other businesses in there as well. So there's a builder, which they specialise more in high quality buildings, so not your average residential home. It's more architecturally designed and very, very nice. But they occasionally do have a granny flat get attached to the back of a home, and that's when we come in and do
nice.
the appraisal.
And the good thing about a B&I is these people are joining a group of people that are focusing on wanting to grow their businesses.
That's correct.
A catch up. It's these guys want you to refer business to them, and they know that you want their business as well. So, everyone's in there to help each other, which is really good. So
it's like-minded business people.
It is, and you need to surround yourself by people that are going to push you and want to help you grow and stuff. So you said your one-on-ones. If we can go into that, because not all B&I groups are doing this, so you're obviously part of a good B&I group. So you meet up with each individual member?
Not so much. It's at the beginning, it was meet up with everyone as much as possible, have high numbers of one-to-ones, which was all fair and good. And that's another thing that I will touch on with the networking a little bit later as well. It was good to meet with everyone, tell the story about real estate and how we can help them, but not everyone was a good contact, if that makes sense.
Yep.
So some meetings would go for 15 minutes, some meetings would go for 45, depending on, the type of person and how much time, you want to spend with that person, if that makes sense, not in a bad way.
Yeah, no, I totally get that. So a tip for you, if you like, when you have a meeting, get some cupcakes, get some donuts, whatever the craze is, and go into their business and meet the rest of their staff.
Of course.
For example, if you're networking with an accountant, there's other accountants in there that could refer business to you. And you want to build a relationship, not just with the one person that's at the B&I, but go meet them all and say, and then talk about a referral system with them as well. Yeah,
definitely. So there was a lot in 2018 was a big learning curve for networking, spending the right time with the right people. And not spending too much time with the wrong people, if that makes sense. But still having that relationship to know that if they ever do need anything relating to property management or even sales, we don't do sales, but we definitely know contacts in the area, that they do have a go-to person for that.
Sure. So have you got a mortgage broker in your group, if I can just ask?
We do, yeah.
Okay.
We do.
And are you networking with other mortgage brokers?
I am, yes.
Okay, that's well done, because it's important that, you've got to speak to as many people that are dealing with a potential investor before they call that sales agent. So you're becoming that raving fan with them.
So the first year, so in 2017, you probably might know this very well, being from Amway and doing Amway, because I also did that myself.
You did Amway. I did Amway.
I did Amway, yeah. As
everyone
you know,
does Amway.
You lose a lot of friends.
I lost all my friends.
One thing I learned, though, is you just do the constant learning. You had the books, the tapes, the seminars, and a lot of learning, just learning, and personal development was the best thing I got out of it. And
definitely.
They're keeping that consistent.
Yeah. So I actually went back through my Amway files and I found the who you know list. Yep. And I printed that, I photocopied that again. It was a little bit worn. And I went through absolutely everything, all the who knows, absolutely everyone, and just started calling, letting them know. I sent a big, massive group message on Facebook. If anyone needs anything related to property management, I'm more than happy to help, and started just building it from there. So, printed off a Google list, went on Google, typed in lenders in Port Macquarie, printed that whole list, called everything.
I somehow think that if you've made a big list of everybody that you know and you're getting on the phone and calling them saying, hey, look, if you need anything property management, I'm the guy. I'm sure people are not going to have a problem with that, compared to if you called them and said, hey, if you want to save some money, but I can't tell you what it is, but if you're interested, I think the property management angle of it's going to work far better and not
Definitely.
upset anyone, like the other. But well done on that, because I think just calling absolutely everybody in your sphere of influence and getting those connections going, getting that top of mind property management in this age of referral. People want to go to friends and say, who do you know, instead of opening up or going online or whatever and going cold. They want to go warm. So, congratulations on that, Tim.
Yeah, it's really good. So,
and obviously at the same time, we had a lot of businesses already had connections with other agents in the area. So that was another challenge. Being Port Macquarie, I kind of feel like it's a home and away show. Everyone knows everyone. And that's the sort of town that we're in. But at the same time, with the amount of growth that we have, there's always new relationships to be had. But the biggest challenge there was people already had their current relationships with those businesses. And it was more our points of difference that we had to explain to them of what we do. Can I be a second opinion? Can I do this for you? What are they doing? Can I do that differently, and show you how that's where it came from as well?
Yeah, that's really
good. So Tim, you're sitting in front of an owner. Owner says, well, there's heaps of other people around town that I can choose for property management. Why should we go with you?
Sure.
What are your points of difference that actually impress the client and persuade them to go with you? What do you use?
Sure. So our main point of difference is property management only. That's what we do. We don't, do any sales or anything like that to have that affect us. So specializing in property management, it allows us to focus on your property. It allows us to get everything ready for your property, to make it compliant, to make it 100% ready to go for the tenant to move in. And then the benefit to that is as well, you have your own dedicated property manager and property officer to ensure that if there is any repair requests that come through, if there is any issues that come through, you have not just one person, but the whole office dedicated to managing your property. So that's our biggest point of difference. The second point of difference is the concierge service. So it's unique to us. There is no one else that has it in the Port Macquarie area.
Yep.
And that, as well, as I said before, is the benefit is we're attracting high quality tenants.
Yeah, I just want to add too, you did show some photos just recently in our IGT Inner Circle. So guys, if just to our listeners and viewers at the moment, if you want to be part of our Facebook group, we've got quite a family atmosphere with our group, a lot of encouragement, teaching each other how to grow. We've got a really good 7-day video challenge at the moment, which grows your skills. Just go to IGT Inner Circle Facebook group, but there are 3 questions you must answer to get in. It's very important that you answer those 3 questions, but we'd love to see you in the group. But just following on, with your points of difference, Tim, okay, so we know a lot of owners just want to try you anyway. They like you, they want to go with you, but they just want to get that extra value. So what do you say to an owner that says, hey, if you can match your management fee with the other agent down the road, we'll go with you? How do you respond to that in a way that you get your fees?
Look, if I'm really honest with you, it doesn't come up that much, the fee objection.
And why not? And why not?
Mainly because of that key point of difference of being only property management. Yeah, that's exactly right.
They already decided they want you. So
that's right. Yeah.
Now a secondary issue, right?
Yes. Yeah. Yep. So I'll take you back to the start. So if you say, for example, you were to call, I've already, I've got your number, I've got your email, I've got all your details. I'm sending you through information about the company straight away. It's being proactive straight away and not allowing them to even think about asking for a fee reduction. And then going from, okay, once the appraisal is done, I know that sense of urgency that I've been taught from previous jobs is just get it done quickly and impress. And that's where the rental appraisal comes through very quickly, obviously with, thorough research and everything like that to make sure that we're not overdoing it or underdoing it. But it's just the speed and response. And, there's clients going, wow, I didn't think you would respond that way. I thought I'd have to wait 2 weeks to see you before I get a rental appraisal. So when it comes to fee objection, if it ever does come up, the answer to that is, if I did have to match my fees, I'd also have to lower the service. And unfortunately, you will find that with other agents, if they do lower their fees, you'll get the service that they give in the Port Macquarie area and surrounds. And that's not what we're about. We're about providing high quality service. We're focused on your property and yourself and growing that and then going from there. So then it really depends on the client, but it doesn't come up that much.
So let me guess, Tim, compared to the other agents in town, you're not cheap.
No, we're competitive, but no, we're not cheap.
Yeah.
Well done. I mean, obviously, you're selling your services up front early. You know your worth as well. And you're not getting that many people asking you for the reduction of fees. And just to add some value to everything that Tim's saying there, it's if I can just add another script there is Mr. and Mrs. Smith. You're asking me to match the fees of the current service that you're with, but you recognise that we've got a better service. So why would we match their fees? So, and that kind of taps into what you're saying. We have to, do you want us to, what part of our service don't you want us to give? It's just
there is a reason why they charge the fees that they do. Otherwise, they'd be charging the same as us. There's a clear reason why. And always, in every case, we find that an agency fees actually represents what they think they deliver in the market and how they see themselves placed in the market. So, well done.
Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, it's spot on. It's good. You've obviously got your points of differences down pat. Being property management only is a key to it. I just want to take something back where you said that you jumped onto Google and you looked up all the mortgage brokers. I'm not sure if people out there are aware that part of the Inspired Growth training, our coaching services, not our memberships for the Inject, but our coaching services, we do data dumps for our clients. So what that basically means is we can choose a suburb and we can provide you a list within an hour of every single mortgage broker, every single accountant, every single strategic alliance that you need, and we can give that to you in a spreadsheet, right? And you can add that to your database, you can do your calls, you can start newslettering them, and you can start target marketing through the social media. That's part of the service of what we do, which is, I mean, how long were you on Google for? You would have just had to,
just a 5-minute search.
Yeah, and that's just one thing. But, and that's something that we provide for our clients, which is really good because you need to add all of them onto your database. So they might not want to use you now, but show them your points of differences, target market them through social media, get it into their face. And then, so when they do get that little bit of I don't think I'm being looked after by ABC Realty, I might have to give Tim a call. And a really good phone call that you can make to these people. Now, Michael Sands, one of our coaches, Darren, he actually gave me this script, so I've got to give him the kudos to this. He would ring them up and say, hi, my name's Michael, I'm from, I'm just looking around. I'd like to know a little bit more about your services. Can you explain what you actually do? So he gets them talking about themselves, and then while he's talking, he says, because I'm looking at using a mortgage broker in the area, so I want to know what you like, what you do, what you provide, etc. So all of a sudden, without them realizing it, they're actually selling themselves to him. And then he says, okay, look, I really appreciate it. Well, this is what I do. I only deal with investors. So then they're actually fighting to want to use him. That could be a mortgage broker, an accountant, a conveyancer. In Australia, we use conveyancers for the settlements, etc. Or they use in America they use lawyers. Is that right?
Attorneys.
Yeah. I've got to get
we call them solicitors here, but over there, a solicitor is something completely different than a person who operates in law.
Yeah, so it's a really good script for you as well. So, which is, it's just you want them talking and it gets them selling services. So, getting a data dump is super important, and connect with them on LinkedIn, connect with them on any sources that you can. So, that's really good. So, if I can just ask, if you were to start a rent roll from scratch yourself,
sure.
What would be your key rent roll growth strategies? What would be like the top 3 things that you would start to do first?
Well, we have touched on them already. It would be join a BNI group.
Yep.
definitely.
Networking.
Yep. And then go through the who you know list. That's another thing I'd do straight away. And then I would probably look at maybe an office as well, having somewhere that people can, recognize where we are located. It's obviously something that wouldn't happen straight away, but that would be the first business goal as well.
Yep. So getting a prominent position, so you're seen in the area, etc. Yeah. So is there any? You've touched on networking again. Is there any other networking that you're doing outside of the BNIs?
I'm part of a lot of not a lot of them. I'm part of a futsal club. Or for some that don't know, it's indoor soccer, and also a soccer club as well. And I've been a part of previous soccer clubs, and we're sponsoring some of those. Now, sponsorship also comes under the community and networking banner. So we have put, some sponsorships in place with, a local rugby union club, a local netball team as well, and then the soccer clubs as well.
So it keeps that branding out there all together.
Definitely. And then if I'm, the club that I'm playing for is in Warhope as well. So it's also building that relationship with that community, and then explaining what our services are to them as well. Yeah,
and being part of a sports club certainly works. I was, I played a lot of cricket when I was in real estate, and I've got to say that there was hardly any. There was none. I think I was it. I was the only real estate agent, and my team used to bag me out on the field, like have a go at me about being a real estate agent, and the opposition are listening and they're talking, and then I talk about it, and it creates conversation at the morning tea, afternoon teas, etc. So it's really good. And
I think real estate's the most talked about barbecue or barbecue talk ever. If you go to any barbecue, you're talking about real estate. You go anywhere down the street, someone asks you, how's real estate?
Or they say, what do you do? I work in real estate. Oh, what's the market doing at the moment, you reckon? Or what are the interest rates going to do, you reckon?
It's a good thing. And I mean, during a game, someone would have a go at me, and I would actually say, don't worry, we'd never rent a property to you. Our standards are too high. So, I'd be sledging them back that way. And then the opposition, and it gets them thinking, but it creates that, so, and that's my own team. And if, it's a good thing, being part of a sporting community, and especially those awards nights, and being part of those awards nights, even if you're not at it. So a really good networking opportunity is schools as well. Getting involved with schools and being at their awards, donated a prize, and being recognised. And the reason why I like that is my daughter had won some school awards, and we used to shop at a particular bookshop. Because she won a prize at this other one. What is it? Domain? What's it called? Can't think of the book. Pardon?
Is it Dimix?
Dimix. Because she won a Dimix voucher, that's where she shops all the time. So they took our business because they were supporting our school. So from a parent's point of view, I felt, wow, these guys support my kid's school. I'm going to support them back. So it really does work.
I was actually really impressed as well. The school that I went to started doing a St. Joseph's Regional College as a school, and they did a student alumni page. So they're going through at the moment, and they're doing I think one a week. They'll go and pick a student, and they'll promote what they're doing now and their journey throughout the school. So I thought that was really really nice. They did one for me, and we promoted that around on social media as well. So, yeah.
Nice. Yeah, well done. That's good. Yeah, excellent. So I totally get that. So that's the school that you used to attend, is that right?
That's correct, yeah.
Yeah, same thing happened to me last year, if you remember, Darren. They actually contacted me on LinkedIn saying, hey, we've been watching you. We'd like to do a story. Will you come and speak at a gathering? So that's good. So, okay, Tim.
Yes.
Boss taps you on the shoulder in the morning and he says, dude, I'm sorry, Tim, you're going to lose your job unless you get 10 managements this week. What do you do?
go through the entire rent roll, go through current landlords, current tenants, tradesmen, networking groups. Just get on the phone.
So you're picking up the phone and you're calling them.
There's that message again, Deniz. Get on the phone.
Get on the phone.
Get on the phone.
Get on the phone.
What Deniz, what's the reason why most rent rolls don't grow?
Because
phone's broken.
People not getting on the phone.
Nobody likes rejection. Nobody likes that. It's the fear. Darren, you put a great meme out yesterday, the F word. People do not like the fear of rejection. So, getting on the phone and you're going to have that intensity in your voice, right? So it's interesting. So, would you have an offer or would you just ring them up?
I'd have something to give first. It wouldn't just be my boss is going to fire me, give me your management. It definitely wouldn't be like that. It would be, how are you tracking this year? Do you have any plans for investing in property? Is that something that we can help you with now? That would be one question. And then, how's your property going? Are you planning on expanding? And then going from there. There'd be a few different avenues, but it definitely give before you can take.
Yep, well done. So you're helping to share them. So that's really good. So well done on that. I mean, it's interesting. And if I can ask, what KPIs have you got in place for yourself? That what tasks have you got embedded in your week for you to do as part of growing the rent roll?
Sure. So my KPIs at the moment is every day is to make 60 calls, 30 connects.
Yep.
And at least one appraisal out of that, and that's per day. Listed and lease, I have a monthly target for that, and I set that myself with the approval from my director to monitor and track that. So, for example, in the first quarter, I would like to sign 45 new managements, and you obviously have the same amount leased, if not more, because some are being brought over from December. Yep. So that's, I guess, my KPIs around prospecting would be the 60, the 30, and the 1. Yeah,
excellent. That's really good. Yeah, well done.
Certainly, and then obviously you get on a roll and you keep going. So
yeah, and that's good. I mean, how are you tracking that? Have you got a whiteboard? Are you like?
No, I've got a Excel spreadsheet.
Okay, Excel spreadsheet. So if I can ask, have you got a database that you're working with?
Yeah, I'm using Inspect Real Estate's BDM database.
Yeah, which is really good. And one of the good things about that is you get your reminders that coming through for who to call and stuff.
Definitely.
Yeah, well done on that. Yeah, that's really good. Yeah, over to you, Darren.
Yeah, so let's wrap this up. But before we finish, Tim, let's just say you're on stage at the Inspire Growth Conference and you are speaking for 1 minute to business owners and BDMs. What's the most important thing that you would say to them in that 1 minute?
I guess being your own brand, be genuine, and cut any of the crap that you want to try and do throughout. If you can be your own brand and build a relationship with people, you're going to build that trust and people are going to come back to you, whether it's immediately 6 months' time or 12 months. You've just got to be who you actually are. And people respect that a lot more than someone who is, as you say, polished or trying to be someone that they're not.
Yeah, no, that's great. And look, we've really gotten deep to networking today. We do have some deeper teaching as well in the, just go to Inspire Growth Training, the Inject Growth Series resources. We're about to change that to exclusive member resources, but we do have a lot more training in that regard if you do want to get in a lot more networking. Otherwise, get on the phone, give us a call. We'll be able to help you and guide you there as well. And Tim, where can people get hold of you if they've got any more questions?
They can go to my website or give me a call. We can.
What's the website address?
It's timcastro.com.au, or you can go to Port Macquarie Property Management.com.au. I think it's pmpm.com.au.
pmpm.com.au or timcastro.com.au to get hold of Tim. But Tim, great session today. Really blown away at how good you are with your skill set, particularly around networking, connecting in such a small town of Port Macquarie. Thanks, guys.
Yeah, awesome having you on board. awesome having you on board, Tim, and no doubt we'll connect at some stage. It was awesome, you know, seeing the videos that you've started to do as well, which is really good. Loving the videos coming through, and you're going to be part of our video challenge as well, are you?
Of course. Yes.
Yep. Well done. That's good.
Right, it's already started. It's been loaded today. So go.
Yeah, I just saw the notification.
It's a good one too. The topic today you got to create a video on is the sneaky tricks that prospective tenants play to rent a property. Obviously, bad tenants play to try and get in. So I'm looking forward to seeing the educational videos on that. But guys, let's wrap this up. Thanks very much.
Cheers. Thank you very much. Take care.
Cheers.
Bye.